Welcome to my gluten-free test kitchen. Today we're making a gluten-free plant-based bagel recipe. It looks so good. Oh my god. I love nothing more than going into the nitty-gritty of recipe development. So today we're making some gluten-free bagels with a cheddar jalapeno topping and also with an everything bagel seasoning topping because that is my favorite. I want to experiment a little bit with the flavors and I do love a cheese bagel, so we're also going to do that. Now I've been testing this for a while. I think I made 3 attempts. None of them turned out perfect, so we are trying it for the 4th time today, and I will catch you up a little bit on what I have been working on so far, so you know where we are at in the developing process. So I made a few attempts to substitute specific ingredients, and I first tried to substitute parts of the flour with millet flour. I used this organic one. And what I found is that the aftertaste was a little bit bitter. Now the structure, the texture of the bagel were perfect. You can freeze them, you can defrost them, they're perfect every time. But it has a slightly bitter aftertaste, it's not what I want. So second try was to substitute the millet flour with part rice flour, which we have here, and also part oat flour. It came out not perfect. So because the rice flour is lighter than the millet, it rose way more. I overproofed it, I think. And then it kind of flattened after it came out of the oven, which is not perfect. So texture-wise and structural-wise, they were not good, but the bitter aftertaste went away. Now again, I did a little bit of online research, and apparently if you have millet flour that is already ground, it can be not in a perfect condition anymore and taste a little bit bitter if it's not super fresh. So I got some millet. I'm gonna try to make our own flour by grinding this in the food processor. Adding the raw millet to our blender and then just see what happens. I'm gonna show you the texture of the flour. This is the texture. I'm gonna show you what I just made. Now I blended this for, I wanna say 2 minutes. Like very grainy. That is kind of a bummer because I really wanted this to work. So let's blend again and see what happens. No, still not it. No. Okay, wait a sec. So it didn't work, unfortunately. That happens. And also while trying to blend this, I realized I cannot expect you at home to go through the same steps because maybe you don't even have a food processor and then you have to rely on products you need to buy in a store. So this is a failure, but it's okay. That's how we figure it out. So the question is now, I'm gonna still use the store-bought millet flour, even though it came out a little bit bitter, but we're also gonna use some brown rice flour just to take out the bitterness a little bit, but still keep the structure from millet. So that's what we're gonna do now. And also, okay, I feel like this video was a real test because I got psyllium husk, which we need for, this is what we need for binding everything together. Very important, cannot be substituted, just so you know. But the thing is, I didn't get a brand I wanted, and I got something that has slightly of a different texture. So I had a powder before, this is more ground. So I probably need more from that than I did from the powder. That's why you test it, guys. Oh my god, okay. So yeah, let's move on with store-bought flour and forget this ever happened. We are activating the yeast by using 2 cups of warm water, and I'm also gonna use some agave. You can use sugar as well. And then we're gonna use some yeast, about 2 teaspoons. Mix everything together. Let that sit until it activates. So now we need a bowl and a kitchen scale to measure all our ingredients. We're starting with our psyllium husk powder, which is basically poor fiber, and it really helps to get a stretchy consistency for our dough. And we're gonna measure 24 grams of this one, and I'm gonna mix it with some water to get like a gel. Okay, what is always super fascinating for me is how the gel turns out. Like, it's actually like a proper gel. Now, I made a little bit of a mistake because I was not supposed to use all the liquid for activating the yeast. You need to separate it because you need most of the liquid to make the gel, and just half a cup for this. But I improvised. That's actually what I do most of the time. That is why it's not a perfect, like I'm not showing you a perfect recipe, I'm just trying stuff out. Okay, so this is the gel. Doesn't look that appetizing, I know, but this will basically mimic the stretchiness of the gluten. That usually the gluten brings this attribute to baked goods. Even though it doesn't look good, it is perfect. Next up, we are measuring all of our flour. I'm gonna be doing this in my KitchenAid, so I'm using the bowl of my KitchenAid. We're gonna need a starch, and we're gonna using the tapioca starch. About 220 grams of tapioca. We're gonna use 80 grams of buckwheat flour. So the buckwheat and the tapioca I have done with the measurements. Now the question is, we need 220 grams more flour, and we're gonna divide it into millet and rice flour, just to hope that the bitter taste goes away. Now I realize it makes the recipe a little bit more difficult, but honestly, this is why sometimes I don't share these recipes. I just make them for myself because I feel like you need a lot of ingredients. They're very difficult to make, and I always assume everybody wants something easy. But I'm not sure if that's actually true, because if the outcome is really, really good, you might want to go through all of that just to try it out. I do, so. Okay, so we're gonna do, let's do 110 of millet, and then 110 of rice. I have this organic brown rice. So everything I'm using is organic, which is more expensive, but I'm just like to invest in that. But of course you can use non-organic products as well. Just saying, it's not necessary. 110 of the brown rice flour. Let's do it. My scale keeps failing in the middle of just assuming that it was 40 grams, so I need 70. Oh my God, that is so stressful. I have no idea. Oh my God, I need a new scale. I'm just assuming that was 110. Okay, so we next need some salt and some sugar. And also, I'm gonna do some salt, but also a little bit of apple cider vinegar, because I do feel that helps activate and maybe that takes away the bitterness a little bit together with the sugar. So I'm just gonna, so this is the flour mix. And now we're gonna add some salt. Let's do 12 grams of salt. So we have everything mixed here, which is great. And now we let that rest for a while, and you see the whisk is already stuck in there. So this is really, really good. I'm gonna get my KitchenAid, and we're gonna mix everything together and hope the dough comes out beautifully and stretchy. Mix together our flour a little bit so it is evenly. We're gonna add the activated yeast, which already looks really good. And we're gonna add our fiber. And then also, I really wanna try this time to add a little bit of apple cider vinegar, as I already mentioned, and maybe a little bit of sugar. Let's add the apple cider vinegar and sugar first, and then we add all the other ingredients. added everything, we're gonna turn up the mixing and see what happens. Now, while this is mixing, I need a bevy, and I'm having this kefir, I have no idea how you pronounce it in English, probiotic drink. You can actually get these at Trader Joe's, and also I got this small one from Sprouts. It's had only 5 grams of sugar. It has postbiotics in it, and it tastes so good. The carbonation from the kefir fermentation is so different. It's more like a champagne bubbles than from carbonated drinks. This is the peach flavor. I've not tried this yet. Oh my God. You know what it tastes like? Like a Bellini. That is so good. You can actually taste peaches, real peaches. Oh my God. Highly recommend you try this. This is so good. I feel like this is my favorite flavor. They also have dragon fruit and I think guava. But this one is better. This is so good. Okay, so the dough came out a little crumbly, so I had to add a little bit of water. And I'm gonna show you the final result because it's so good. Okay, guys, look at that texture. I have to remove this. It's just easier. That. Oh my God. I cannot even believe. I mean, I can because I made it before, but still, every time I make this, I'm amazed with how this dough looks. Look, it is so stretchy. It's not too wet. It's actually perfect. Yes. Now we shape this into a ball like this. So we can cut it in 8 equal pieces. 4 pieces, and then I'm gonna divide them as well, and so I can make my 8 bagels. So the technique here is to flatten it out into a rectangle and then fold it over. Fold it over and seal until you make a ball like this. And then you do this with all the bagels. Proofing process for gluten-free bagels is actually a little bit different. So we're not gonna proof the dough and then make the bagels. We're gonna make the bagels first, meaning we shape them. And then we're gonna let them proof at room temperature before we are cooking them in some water. And then we're gonna bake them. Now there are 2 different ways how to shape a bagel. You can roll it out into a rope and then make the bagel, or you can just take the ball like it is and put your thumb through it and shape it from there. I usually do the rope and then put it together, but whatever works best for you. So the hard part is over. We figured out the recipe. It seemed to have worked pretty well. And now we're just gonna let them proof for around half an hour until they're a little bit bigger. And then we're gonna cook them in some water and bake them in the oven. Okay, let's look at the inside of the bagel. Oh my god, it looks so good. It's super fluffy, airy texture, but still chewy. So everything you really want from a bagel, right? Let's rip one apart to see the actual texture. Okay, and now the most important part is the taste test. I'm gonna test the everything bagel one because the cheese might cover the bitter side note if there is one. We're gonna see. Oh my god, it is so good. There is still a little bit of bitterness. Yeah, there is still a little bit of bitterness, but way less than before. Otherwise, the texture is just perfect. I mean, the texture is so good because it's chewy, it's a little dense but fluffy at the same time, exactly what you want from a bagel. It's also very light. Now before I had like a grayish color inside, but this is so much better. It's so freaking insane. I cannot, like how it looks exactly like a bagel. And it's gluten-free. And it's healthy. And it's vegan. It's everything. Sorry, I'm just eating at this point. They are so good. Thank you so much for watching the first episode of the Test Kitchen. I'm pumped for this recipe. It's so good. Honestly, give it a try. Do your own test kitchen. Mess around with the ingredients a little bit if you want to substitute something. If you have a question about substituting some of the ingredients, just drop it in the comments below. I'm pretty sure I've tried it almost everything at this point. Also, let me know what recipe you want to see next. I've planned to do a gluten-free sourdough from scratch, like making the starter, trying to make a bread. I feel like gluten-free baking is the most difficult thing ever, so we're gonna hack it. So if you have any more questions, comments, ideas, let me know in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one.